Hello lovelies, my name is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I wanted to talk to you about my therapy journey. So for those of you that don't know, I had a mental health break in August of 2021 and I really struggled with my mental health, and it's the first time in a long time that I sought out professional help to help me with everything I was struggling with. And I just wanted to kind of share with you a little bit of a breakdown about how it's improved my life, really. Yeah. So I just want to start this video by saying that therapy is not for everyone. There are some people who do not respond to a therapy setting and things like that. And just to clarify, I've been having my therapy sessions over Zoom and not in person. But I can honestly say, hand on heart, therapy has changed my life. I am not the same person I was in August. I don't have the same desires to hurt myself or to no longer be here. I am discovering more about my sexuality. I'm discovering more about my dietary habits. I'm discovering more about my materialism and how I view the world and things like that. And it's been an amazing way to like unpack trauma and things like that. So I have been on a 12-week intensive therapy training course. It was run through Spectra, which is a trans-led charity focused here in the United Kingdom, benefiting the lives of trans individuals. And I actually joined the waiting list for it back in April of 2020. So it is a long waiting list, and I don't want anyone to have any like disillusionment that it's not a long waiting list. It is a very long waiting list. But the 12-week course has just come to an end, and week by week we discovered different things about me. In the first week it was kind of a brief introduction, but I was really dedicated and committed to the fact that I wanted to improve myself and my relationship to my mental health, so I really threw myself into therapy, and I cannot recommend that enough as a way to kind of deal with therapy. But I just kind of threw myself into it. We have discovered things about my past. We have discovered things about a sexual assault I went through when I was 19. We have discovered things about my disordered eating, my relationship to food, and the idea that I possibly may have been misdiagnosed with something when I was younger in place of something else, which is something I'd like to make a video on in the future. We've spoken about my childhood trauma that my family might not know that I necessarily associate as trauma. We've spoken about how I see experiences differently to how they actually were. We've spoken about how I manipulated and moulded the world around me through things that I thought were negatives in order for myself to survive. We've spoken about, we've spoken about how I tried to kill myself and why I wanted to do that, and how that was intrusive thoughts and how I can manage my intrusive thoughts, how the voices in my head that were telling me to kill myself were voices that are actually quite useful 99% of the time, and at that time they just weren't working. They weren't doing their job, they weren't doing what they were supposed to do in the correct way. But it was about recognizing that and working towards a time when they could potentially be working in a better way for me. And it's just been, my therapist, who I will not name for their anonymity, has been phenomenal, and I really hope that they see this video one day and know that they have changed my entire way of thinking in such a positive way. And I've got to talk about the stigma around mental health and needing help. I thought it was some sort of an achievement to have gone through my entire transition without any help for my mental health, and I actually think that was a really damaging decision upon reflection. I think it's very bold, and I'm very proud of the fact that I got through my transition without any help, but actually I really could have utilised some mental health. But the thing is, when I was younger, I suffered a lot of trauma around doctors not following through on my prescriptions and things like that when they saw that my eating habits weren't right, or that my mental health was not associating properly, or that there were problems with my back and things like that. So I really hid how I felt in fear of it elongating my transition process. And I just look back now and think, oh my goodness, I really wish I could go back and speak to my younger self. So if there's anyone out there who's watching this, who's thinking about starting therapy at a young age, I highly recommend it. Doctors are not going to hold it against you. Doctors are not going to tell you that you're crazy and can't transition, because that is genuinely what I thought would happen to me. And that's not the case at all. My therapist has given me some of the most amazing tools to help kind of see me through the next stage of my life, and taught me about the difference between anxiety and a learned anxiety, and how if my anxiety is always coming back to something, then that's the learned anxiety, because it can't process the new anxiety. We've spoken about the chemical element of why I binge eat. We've spoken about everything from why I sometimes feel the need to manipulate situations around me, and it's from a place of survival, you know, it's from fight or flight. And the thing is, we've spoken about how words have such negative connotations. We've spoken about my sexuality, which I'll be going into a little bit more next week, so stay tuned for that video. And we've talked about pretty much every part of me as an individual. And that has been the strangest but most gratifying thing. And I just want to say, and maybe I should have started the video with this, but I cannot recommend therapy enough, specifically the therapy at Spectra that I've had, but I cannot recommend therapy enough. It is a learning pattern. You do have to find the right therapist. You do have to find the right type of therapy that works for you. And if you would like a more like a detailed breakdown of the therapy tactics that we've been using, then please do let me know. I can't recommend it enough as a way to vent, as a way to really identify things within yourself, but also to get rid of the fear and the stigma around trauma, because I think as trans people we all have trauma. Some of it is shared, a lot of it is individual, and I think that I really struggled with the idea that my trauma is justified, that I'm allowed to have trauma. And I just wanted to kind of say to you that I've recently gone through this therapy journey. I'm really enjoying it. I don't think I'm at the end yet, and I will be seeking kind of continued therapy and things like that moving on forwards from it. But it saved my life. It stopped me from making a terrible decision. It contributed to my rehabilitation as like alongside my medication for my mental health breakdown. You know, it is the reason I'm still here. And I don't feel any shame in admitting that. And I think at the beginning of this journey, I really would have. And that's the power of therapy. That's how much it's changed me as a person. It's been only a few short months, but I genuinely think my entire outlook on almost everything has changed. And that's because I was willing to work for it. I worked hard in therapy. I did the homework, I made the lists, I contributed, I was an active participant. And I think that's so important, that you need to know that you need to be actively participating in your therapy sessions in order for them to have any effect on you as an individual. And I'm so glad I did. Like I said, just the biggest thank you to my therapist if they ever see this. I don't know. I don't know how to thank you. I don't know how to properly word the way in which you've impacted my life, but I am here because of you. I'm not having intrusive thoughts because of you. And I am dealing with my anxieties and my lifelong traumas that I thought I would never deal with because of you. And I am so very grateful. And that, my lovelies, that's today. I just wanted to talk about how therapy is really changing me and the experiences I'm having. If you want a more detailed breakdown of the practices that were being used, the difference between an anxiety and a learned anxiety, what disordered eating is and things like that, then let me know, because those are things I've been discovering about myself in therapy. I would love to share them with you. I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope you're avoiding transphobia, and I will see you next week at 18:30 GMT for another video. Bye lovelies. Thanks for watching.